Welcome back, Legion. Are you ready to play? Sports will be resuming very soon, which is exciting news. Although, are you actually ready to go back and play sport? Are you physically and mentally prepared to start playing sport again? These are some tough questions to ask yourself, but I think it's imperative that we do sit back and have a think about it. Because being prepared is critical if we want to return to our sport that we love so much. In an ideal world, we all would have been preparing for this moment over the last couple of months. So in an ideal world, we all would have been doing some general physical training to keep our bodies ready for this return of sport. If you haven't though, I suggest that you probably need to suspend the next 2 to 4 weeks doing some general physical preparation work. This will include general strength training, general running and conditioning, depending on your sport, and then a sprinkle of speed and agility training as well. This is just to get your body used to moving again and to improve some of the tissue quality and the loads that your muscles, tendons, and connective tissue can handle. It's important that this phase isn't skipped, because jumping straight into sport-specific work could really increase your risk of injury. If you've been working quite hard over this period, well, that's great. You're probably ready to jump straight into sport-specific training. However, it's my suggestion that you don't just jump straight back in. Ideally, we need to spend some time, anywhere between 4 to 8 weeks, slowly and gradually building our training load and our training tolerance to our sport-specific movements. So this obviously includes the actual physical skills itself of the sport. You have to be careful. For example, if you play AFL and you go to have a kick, and let's say in your first session you go and do 100 kicks on your right leg, and the most you've done in the last 8 weeks is 10 kicks, you're actually going to pull up a bit sore and potentially put yourself at risk of injury the next time you go to training. So you do need to be mindful of the different skill sets that, yes, you do need to train, but you don't need to make it up all in one session. You need to slowly build this up over a period of time. You also need to incorporate more sport-specific movements, which will include running, sprinting, jumping high, landing, and cutting. There's obviously many more as well, but you need to do it within the context of sport-specific movements. It can't be just a simple cone-to-cone drill anymore. You can also make your strength work a little bit more specific now, so that it gives you the best transfer and carry over to your sport on the field. Ideally, you want to spend this time gradually building to the point where you are ready for competition. Like I said before, this may take anywhere between 4 and 8 weeks. Ideally, the longer you take to prepare your body, the more resilient you are going to be in the long run. Although there are some time restrictions here, so we just have to do the best that we can. The most critical part is that we don't skip it at all, and we don't just jump straight ahead. I can see a worst case scenario here of athletes being severely underprepared from taking too much time off and then jumping straight back into full training loads. Unfortunately, I believe this is probably the more likely scenario across the world. But if you get a chance to heed my warning, take the time to prepare your body so that the risk of injury is much lower and your chance of performing at your absolute best, or at very least better than your competition, for the future. Are you physically ready? So as I just mentioned, it's important to build up the tolerance in your body. So when we talk about load, we could be talking anywhere between anything about volume, which is the amount of distance you might be doing or the amount of time you might be spent training. And it is also considers intensity, which could be the speed at which you're doing things. And it could be the types of drills that you're doing. There's obviously different intensities in different drill work. So my suggestion here is that you need to start on the lower end. I'm definitely encouraging you to do some more sport-specific skill work now, especially if we're going to return to play very soon. Just start slow and gradually build. Start to increase the volume of the work that you've been doing and the intensity. I think in an ideal world, we'd probably spend anywhere between 6 and 8 weeks building back up to that kind of competition status. Although we might not have that time, anywhere between 2 and 4 weeks might have to do in this scenario. The biggest thing here is to not spike your load. And a basic spike is going from, as an example, if we use running or a running-based sport, if your sport requires you to cover, say, 7 kilometers in a game, and you train twice that week, which are both between 4 and 5K sessions. Let's say they're both 4K sessions. So that's 8Ks during the week, and then 7Ks on the weekend, which gives you a total of 15 kilometers for the week. So you want to prepare your body so it can tolerate that amount of distance. You also want to be able to tolerate the intensity at which you are being given. So it's not enough just to go and do long, slow, steady runs at one single pace. That's going to expose you on the fast end side of things. So you do need to consider how much explosive sprinting, explosive jumping, hard cutting, slowing down, and potentially even contact work if you play a contact sport. You need to slowly introduce these qualities back into your training. Again, it can't be at full speed, especially if you've been doing nothing. If you've been doing something, well then the time for you to get back to where you want to be is going to be a lot shorter. But if you haven't, unfortunately, you can't skip this process. And if you do skip this process, you're simply rolling the dice. To quote Dirty Harry, do you feel lucky, punk? Are you mentally ready? Many of us might not actually be thinking about being mentally prepared. We're obviously excited to get back to playing sport, which is great. But being mentally prepared for your sport is different than just being simply excited and eager to play. Mental preparation usually starts at training. And if you haven't been training, it's going to be a pretty significant jump in your mental status. We can take it nice and slow and steady though. So the first step is just to catch up with your teammates and your coach. This is a great place to start getting our frame of reference and our mind back into playing our sport. If you haven't been playing at all and doing completely different tasks, your mind has been elsewhere. You haven't been in your normal mental status of this is what I do from a sporting perspective week in and week out. So it is going to take time to actually get back into that frame of mind. Think about it similar to the physical qualities as slowly, gradually building it up as well. Your habits have likely also changed throughout this time as well. So without you really knowing, you've created habits around your sport. For example, if training starts at 5:30 p.m, you've actually worked a lot of your daily habits and routines around that start time because this is something you enjoy. You've either prepared food specifically for either before or after training. You're preparing your equipment. You're preparing your lifestyle around these training sessions and gameplay. So getting back to training, this is a good place to start. Is start to ingrain those habits again of preparing for training. This can help you feel a little bit more relaxed and less stressed, especially if you're unprepared. Being unprepared can make you really stressed. So slowly starting to integrate your way back into your normal systems and your normal routines is a great way to start to mentally focus and look at the challenge ahead. The second part is to sit down with your coach and map out a rough plan of what it's going to look like over the upcoming weeks. Obviously with that end goal of playing in mind. Now this is obviously going to be a bit of a challenge now because we're not 100% sure what the future is going to look like, but I think it's really important to use the information that we currently have to sketch out a rough plan. Again, planning puts your mind at ease. It reduces that mental strain one little step further, which means that you can put more focus on when you go back to training. And when you're at training again, it's important to slowly start to integrate your focus, which is again a part of mental skills, and adjust it to the type of training that you're doing. This is why if you go bang and throw in some match simulation, high velocity, high intensity training, your mental cognitivity, so your ability to read the play, is obviously going to be diminished. Regardless of how experienced you are, if you've taken time off something, you lose the ability to make the same sharp decisions in the same amount of time. It might eventually come to you, and with consistent training, it will definitely come back, and the more experience you have, the quicker it will come back. But you can't be so naive that you can't expect that your brain or your mental status needs to catch up as well, especially if you've been in a very different place and you haven't been thinking about your sport at all. I would consider the mental preparedness as important, if not more important, than the physical preparedness. Like we said with physical preparedness, start slow, start to build those habits back into place, and slowly build up that mental skills training that you would have had before. Unfortunately, we don't have a crystal ball to tell us what to do moving forward. However, those athletes who are patient and who understand that being prepared is likely the best path to take to being successful, these athletes might find themselves actually having the most successful year of their sporting careers.